And welcome everybody to what I hope is the first of many OEFC outlet podcasts. Just kind of thought I'd bring you guys a little bit of information about OEFC. I'm Brian Gordon. I'm the OEFC administrator for the club, and just felt like rather than sending out a plethora of emails to all of our membership and putting information out on the podcast or on the Facebook stream, that I would do a podcast, do a video cast, see if we can share some information the new way. So appreciate everybody joining. Hopefully you'll see this as an informative session that you guys can glean some greater insight to our wonderful club. So today what I'd like to cover for you guys is basically we have an upcoming training camp. We have a camp that we're really excited about. I think we've got some really great numbers of kids coming out this year, and I want to give you a little bit of insight on what to expect with the training camp, as well as tryouts. Tryouts are right afterwards, and certainly a fun time for all the kids. I want to give you an idea of what to expect through tryouts. And then a little bit of a look at club registration. So once tryouts are over and you're signing with the club, what does that look like? And then I've got one of my good friends, Chandra, Dyer, with Mercy Sports Medicine, who's going to come out and talk to us a little bit about how the kids can help prepare themselves for tryouts, for training camp, and as well as prepared over the summer. So that once the club starts getting back into action again towards the end of the summer, that they're ready for the new year of soccer. So let's talk tryout or training camp. For those of you who haven't registered yet for training camp is still open. It's open for we'll call it a little bit more than 24 hours right now. So if you haven't had a chance to register for training camp, do so now. You'll certainly want to. You can go to our website, which is okenergyfc.org. and click on the training camp site, and then there it'll take you to all the information that you'll need about training camp. There you'll find out what the times are for your particular age group, when to show up, as well as you'll want to pay attention to this in case of weather. We'll make some adjustments and post it on this website as far as if there's any schedule changes. So make sure you guys are checking our website often when it comes to training camp. But certainly, if you haven't registered, jump on there and go register now, because it's only going to be open for a little bit. With training camp, what to expect. So when training camp comes around, the first thing you want to do is head to the concession stand. So if those of you who are not familiar with Edmond Soccer Club, you'll come in off of Danforth, and there'll be the first parking lot. Go into that first parking lot, park, and then come in through the entryway, and just to the right of the storage facility, you'll see some tents where check-in will be. At that check-in, you'll get in there and you'll get the t-shirt that you're pre-registered for, as well as a wristband showing that you checked in. So make sure you go there first. Don't go to the fields first. You'll want to check in, get your t-shirt, get that wristband. If you weren't able to pre-register, we do have walk-up registration. Go to that walk-up registration. You'll need to fill out a medical release form and then bring $95 in cash for the registration fee for that camp. So just there will be somebody there to help you out along those lines. Once you've gotten your t-shirt, once you've gotten your wristband, then you can head to the fields. I would give it probably about 20 minutes early, at least, maybe 30 minutes early, just depending upon your age groups, to go and do check-in, because sometimes those those lines queue up pretty long, especially in the younger ages. We've got some great numbers in the younger ages, so if everybody's showing at the same time, it may take a little bit to funnel everybody through check-in. So make sure that you guys are going a little bit early to account for that. Once you've got your t-shirt, once you've got your wristband, once you checked in, then we'll give you the field that you'll head to, and you'll head out to the appropriate field. We are taking on basically field 14 and everything north. So we'll stay towards the northern end of the complex. That way it's all centralized. We'll have our trainers in that area. We'll have our check-in and our volunteers in that area as well. So first day of camp, second day of camp, all the training sessions are on the same field. So make sure that you guys make record of what field we send you to. As well as we will have keeper sessions, so keeper-specific training. For the keepers, if your player is a keeper, go to your age group field first. Check in with the coaches, And then once the coaches have checked everybody in or verified that everybody's in, they'll send the keepers to their particular training area, where the keepers will train for about 45 minutes and then go join the rest of the age group as well for whatever drills or shooting or whatever the camp stage is at that point. Keeper training will be available on both days, but don't be surprised if perhaps that second day the keepers stay within their age group because they may be going to goal, maybe doing some scrimmaging or some shooting practices. The coaches want to see those keepers in action. So just make sure your keepers are communicating with the coaches each day as to what they need. The other thing I do want to ask is we really need volunteers out there. We've got a great group of volunteers who have already signed up, but we do need volunteers for a lot of the age group, especially the ones that are going earlier. So if it's something that you might want to help out and participate in, just helping out, hand out T-shirts, checking kids in, giving out wristbands, send me an email. You can reach me at bgordon, BGORDON, at okenergyfc.org, and I'll get you the appropriate link to sign up as a volunteer. So any help is appreciated. We really look forward to that. So 2 days of training camp should be a lot of fun. Really a great opportunity to get to see all the coaches of your age group, get to work out with all the kids within your age group, and really kind of learn some great soccer. And then tryouts. Tryouts is going to be on Wednesday. Now for tryouts, what you're going to want to do is when you come in, you'll go to that particular assigned field. You don't have to check in at the front. So essentially, the field that you are on for training camp is going to be the same field for tryouts. So just head straight to that camp or to the field for the tryouts. Once you get to the fields, there'll be a table there and some helpful volunteers. They will check you in at that table. If you've been to camp, they'll have a folder that'll already have your information in. You just got to check it and make sure that the information's correct. If you didn't already come to camp, or if you didn't attend camp, then you can just fill out your contact information there. They'll probably have you sign a medical release as well, just to cover the club, and then send you out to the field to do the actual tryout. Once the coaches have selected their teams or assigned your player to a team, they'll go back out to that particular table, wherever it is on your fields, and you'll sign out and delegate or designate which team you are assigned to. That's for us to be able to track who was assigned to what team and to make sure we don't lose any kids in the process so that everybody's accounted for. Make sure you stick around, though, afterwards, because most of the time after the tryout session is over, the coaches will get the team together and have a very quick impromptu team meeting. And there at the team meeting, you'll share information about what the year ahead looks like, what the schedule might look like, information about uniforms. I highly suggest working out uniform numbers because uniforms will be ordered shortly after tryouts, and more information on that will come out later. But make sure that you guys get together and have that team meeting so you guys can get organized. At the very least, so the team manager and the coaches have all the proper contact information for all the kids. If a team doesn't have a manager, then if you feel like helping out and something you might want to do, then please step up and offer that to your coach as well. And then essentially you'll go away and you'll start getting communication from your team manager on what to expect over the summer, what to expect for uniform orders, and when the team is going to start meeting again. So the other thing you're going to get when you check out of your tryout, so you're going to get a sheet of paper, and this is a handout that'll give you instructions on how to register or sign with the club. And essentially, you'll go to our website, and when you're at our website, you'll click on the club registration box, and it'll give you take you to three options: general membership, ECRL, and ECNL. If you're ECRL and ECNL teams, you should know that. The coaches will give that information to you. If you're general membership, then you'll be typically our third team and below will be signing in as general membership. You'll click on that link and it'll take you through the registration process. Now, let's look at that. When you go to the registration process, click on the link, whether it be ECNL or ECRL, you'll go to a Got Soccer page. And within this Got Soccer page, if you've already used the new version of Got Soccer, you should already have an account for your child. In my case, my son Gavin Gordon's account here, you'll click register for them, and it'll take you through the standard information as far as contact information, birth date information, address information. You'll hit save, continue on. Then you can designate parent, so you can put in your contact information as the parent. If you have a spouse, then put in your spouse's contact information as well. Continue on. Emergency info will be basically who you would want us to call an emergency. Any medical information, if your child has allergies or anything that the coaches should be aware of, then list that there. Physician, if there's a physician that you want us to contact, then certainly list that information there. Insurance, if you have insurance, an insurance provider you want to list there, then we can list it there as well. Helps with if you're not happen to be at the fields, but we need to get your child to a hospital, then that helps out that process as well. Continue on from there, and then you'll be able to select the team that you were assigned to. Now, on that sheet of paper, hopefully it'll be marked what team you were selected to, so you'll have that pretty handy. In my son's case, let's say he was an 08, and that he was selected for, we'll call it the Navy team. And then you'll go on to the next step, which is basically payment. Or no, you got to do a couple of check boxes. So within this, you'll have to upload a player's birth certificate. You should, hopefully once you've uploaded the birth certificate, it's the only thing you need to upload. I will just upload a file here. And then you'll need to check box a couple of the waivers we have. So medical release waiver, as well as a expected player expectation policy. And then lastly, we're always looking for support, ways that we can involve our membership into the club. Many of you have skills that we can certainly use within the club. So if you're looking to volunteer, or if you're in a business that you feel like would be able to contribute to the club, share that information with us. We'd love to know who you are and what you do, because we certainly could use all the help we could get. So, for me, I would put in, I'm good at administration, assuming I spelled it right. Administration. And then, but if you're an accountant, if maybe you're great at fundraising, that we love fundraisers. Return to play policy, you'll check box that. That's just because we still live a little bit in a COVID world. We want to make sure that everybody's COVID aware. And then we get to the payment information. So this is where you would sign up to pay your club dues. You'll have a registration fee, and then you'll have your yearly club dues. You'll have a few different options in this sense. So you'll have the option of paying all of it up front for a little bit of a discount. You'll have the option of paying registration fee now, and then paying quarterly in 3 payments, quarterly payments. Or you'll have the option of paying monthly with registration up front, or even splitting registration, where you pay half of registration up front, pay your monthly dues, but in the month of November, you're going to pay that second half of registration. So you have all those choices as far as how you want the building, what works best for your family. I'm going to select doing it on a monthly basis, paying the full registration fee up front. And then also, for those of you looking to support and help the club out, we certainly need scholarships. So we have a section where if you want to donate to our scholarship fund, give you an option of donating. We do it in $25 increments. So if you want to help out the club or help out some players who could use some scholarships, maybe you do 1 or 2 scholarship donations. So I did 2, so $50. And then I'll continue on. And then lastly, comes up to checkout. Now here we'll have a total of exactly what I'm paying. So I'm paying the $275 up front plus my $50 donation. And then I hit checkout. Now when you hit checkout, it'll take you to a credit card processing area where you'd enter your credit card information. And that is the credit card that will stay on file for the year that we will continually charge the dues against. So just kind of be aware of that. If you have problems, which some people have problems, then try a different browser, or maybe try a different computer, because there are some browsers that the credit card processing site doesn't work really well with. But eventually, if you have any issues, then you can always contact me. Again, you can reach me at bgordon@okenergyfc.org or admin@okenergyfc.org, or you can chase down my information on our website at okenergyfc.org. And I'm happy to help any way that I can. So essentially, that is how you would get through our registration process. You would want to register after tryouts, but before the teams start organizing together. We try to get everybody registered by the beginning of July so that we can get our paperwork ordered and have an understanding of the size of the teams. So pretty painless in the long run, and we're really excited about camp and tryouts in this process. I think everybody's going to have fun. But now that we're going into camp and going into tryouts, we want to have a little bit of an insight of exactly what to do. So again, I brought Chandra Dyer, the official athletic trainer of OEFC with Mercy Sports Medicine, to join us. So Chandra, welcome. You're talking to the OEFC family at this point.
Hi, how are you guys?
Exactly.
As you said, my name is Chandra Dyer. I am one of the athletic trainers that directly works with you guys at the OEFC. We also have Chris Dooley. He is more often than not at the fields than I am, for the most part, but I do help out quite a bit with especially on events and things like that. So I do have some information to give you guys to try to kind of get you guys prepared for the tryouts, but also throughout the summer and through the season as well. First off, I was going to mention really quick, he was talking about during tryouts and the registration that our tent will actually have Mercy Sports Medicine and has a white top. It should be around the same area as the registration. We'll have somebody there the whole time. If something happens, somebody gets hurt, if we, overheated, things like that, definitely let the coaches know so we can get out there to you guys and help you guys as fast as we can. So, do you have the PowerPoint up, Brian?
I am showing it, so you're good to go.
Okay, perfect. So, starting off with, I was going to talk a little bit about sports nutrition. It is basically... It's the practical science of fueling your body and getting it ready for not just events but also practices. And it's everything that's involved with before, during, and after exercises. When it's done properly, you're at your optimal health and training when you can do that in your performance and you're thinking clearly and you can do what you need to do. When it's ignored, when you don't hydrate, things like that, then it can cause a lot of issues. So we're going to go through a few things, and hopefully I'll help you guys in the next week, and we won't actually have to treat anybody, which is always nice. I will say this, I took majority of this nutritional information from a different PowerPoint from PowerBar because it was just too good not to use. So they had some great information in that as well, but I wanted to give credit to where credit was due on a lot of this information. So there are 3 principles to sports nutrition. Is number 1, utmost, is always going to be stay hydrated. You need to provide fuel for your muscles, and then you're going to need to promote the recovery that you need for after the exercises. So we're going to kind of go through those 3 principles real quick. So for the hydration, you lose a lot of fluids and electrolytes. You're going to lose water. You're going to lose sodium. You're going to lose potassium and magnesium. And a lot of times we only replenish the water. You've also got to replenish those electrolytes as well. Gatorade, sports drinks are great. You can even add extra salt to them if you really need to, if you're starting to cramp, which is not always a fun thing to do because some people don't like the taste of that.
That sounds terrible.
Hey, I've done it enough times now. I kind of personally like a little bit of salt in my Gatorade, but pickle juice works. Somebody who likes mustard, you could always do that, or soy sauce, which we've tried it all with our athletes, and it just kind of depends upon what you prefer. But usually, just having Gatorade or Powerade or stuff like that works great. So when it talks about the largest contributor to fatigue during exercise, it's going to be that dehydration and that fluid loss. When you don't prepare your body for the event, and you need to do that 3 to 5 days before what you're fixing to do. So really, you should be starting to prepare your body now for Monday through Wednesday, especially since we've had a lot of rain. It's going to be so much more humid than what sometimes it is, just because of that moisture in the air, and it can hit you a lot harder, a lot faster. So we need to make sure that we're hydrating properly on that, and starting now versus waiting until the day of or the night of, because it won't be in your body in enough time to actually help you. And the other thing is that complicating everything else is that usually by the time you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So you really can't go off of that on your hydration part of it. So you need to start drinking more, water beforehand, before, after, and as well as during, obviously. But just making sure that you're having enough, depending upon your body type and how much fluid you lose when you exercise. A lot of times we tell athletes to drink a gallon of water a day, at least try to. At the same time, you also need to replenish that sodium and those electrolytes, eat a banana, salted foods, things like that as well. So, and this kind of goes into that. The next slide kind of goes into the, losing 2% of your body weight due to fluid loss can actually, that means that you are going to be dehydrated. And it's not uncommon to see that, especially with the humidity, with, the sports that are those endurance type sports, you're going to be losing a lot of weight. And to kind of put it in perspective, if you're 150 pounds, 2% is only 3 pounds of weight loss. When I work with the high school athletes, we always weigh before practice and then weigh after practice, and then they have to replenish a lot of that just to make sure that they are hydrating and getting those fluids back into them. And then the other risk factor is going to be consuming too much liquid, water, Gatorade, things like that during exercise, and you can overhydrate, which can also cause you to get sick and have other issues as well. So you kind of have to learn what's your, you want to make sure you drink enough, but you also don't want to overdo it where you start feeling bloated and sick to that as well. So.
Not good.
Not good at all. So for nutrition, as I know what the world and way that athletes eat now, for soccer especially, and these endurance type sports, carbs is the best thing that you could have. One of the greatest things I enjoyed, I guess you can say, working with professional athletes and those, especially the energy, was the meals they had, because it was always so good, because they had, for their pregame meals, they had pasta, they had lean chicken or turkey or both. They had rice, steamed vegetables, So I always knew that he was getting those type of nutrients that are needed during that time to do their performance. Carbs stay with you longer, so it fuels your body fat, for a longer period of time, which is what is needed for soccer players. If your diet is too low in carbs, you'll suffer for it. You won't have any energy for it. Mentally you'll get, you're not going to be thinking quite as straight or clear as you need to be during that time. And then it kind of goes into a little more of, the more intense your training is in competition, the higher your carbohydrates actually need to be. And then there's the suggestion of 2.3 to 4.5 grams of carbs per pound of your body weight. But that being said, as long as you're eating healthy and you're eating enough, you should be good to go on that part of it. So you also want to avoid running out of enough energy. So even if it's eating, protein bar 30 minutes before you go out there and actually play, that's going to give you fuel to get through. Sometimes, depending upon the type of athlete, you may need to actually eat a protein bar at halftime. You kind of need to know what your body does and how you feel. And you've been playing soccer long enough, you kind of know how you work. So, but you definitely need to be refueling as you can. Any type of diet or meal plans that restrict your carbs, you should not be having, especially for athletes. It is one of those, I know the big thing is, the keto diets with the more protein and less carbs and things like that, but for athletes, you really need to have that well-rounded, balanced diet. You make sure you have a good variety of whole grains and vegetables, lean protein sources. I've already mentioned chicken and turkey and things like that, your fruits, and healthy fats. It's kind of what you need to have when you refuel. So then you can go into recovery. Preferably, recovery needs to be taking place for 30 to 60 minutes, within 30 to 60 minutes after you've done your event or your practices or whatever. It can be anything from drinking chocolate milk, which actually replaces a lot of things, to your Gatorade, to eating, your healthy meals. I always tell, especially during the summer and the spring months in August and where it gets really hot, to make sure you're salting your foods. If you like bananas, eat bananas. Some of those fruits that like honeydew melon, that really replenishes a lot of those electrolytes that are in your body. So the recovery doesn't really start in your body until you actually start having those nutrients in your body. So, and I've kind of put down there, carbs is for the restoration of your fuel stores to help you recover faster, and so you can also have that for the next time it comes around. Your protein helps basically build and to fix your muscles. Anything that was damaged, your soreness, things like that, that's going to help there. And then your fluids and your sodium for rehydration. So some different ways to prepare. You can start, you need to start your exercises fully hydrated. So this says, drinking 14, 20 ounces of water or sports drinks 2 to 3 hours before training competition. As I've already mentioned, you need to be drinking and hydrating yourself properly 3 to 5 days before, because it will stick with you. If you are a cramper, somebody who does have issues with the heat and things like that, you can drink some Pedialyte. I used to have an athlete that would drink Pedialyte the night before the event, halftime of the event, and sometimes even after, because that's what helped him to get through those events, especially those long games. Make sure you're staying hydrated as you're warming up. You want to top off your muscle energy store, so you want to make sure you're consuming enough carb-based meals 2 to 4 hours before your practice. Same thing with before your games. You want to avoid those higher fatty proteins as well. I love beef and pork and things like that, but you need to kind of limit your consumption of those, especially when you're having big events coming up. And then you need, like I said, a carb-based snack. So like a protein bar or something like that is going to kind of get you going beforehand. And then obviously your fluids 30 to 60 minutes before practicing. So a little bit about us, really quick, is that you'll have access to an athletic trainer, especially during the training. We have Chris Dooley. He's going to be, as I said, the main athletic trainer during practices and games and stuff. He will be there at the fields. So you'll have access to them. If you contact me or him, we'll make sure you guys get checked out, make sure everyone gets seen. We have access to around 10 different orthopedics, I believe it is. I'll have to sit there and double check the number. But we do have orthopedic providers that can be, typically we can get any of the athletes in 24 to 48 hours after the injury. We have multiple locations, clinical locations, that so we try to make sure that we get what's best for the athletes. We will have an on-site athletic trainer during the ECNL games and the ECRL. We'll make sure we have that covered. We might even have 2 at times. But that being said, if it's anyone who needs help, we're more than willing to help anyone that's hurt or injured. There are several Mercy Go Health urgent care locations, so if something does happen during a game or practice, we can always get you locations of those really fast as well. So that's kind of a little bit about us. I know that it was also mentioned about summer that I'd actually forgotten that you guys take off some during the summer.
Well, we're
So,
supposed
one
to.
of the big things.
You never know because there are coaches that like to do tournaments, and some of the teams will go later into the summer
Sure.
with national tournaments. But a lot of the teams are off, and really that's the big thing is how do they stay match fit or close to match fit maybe over the summer so they're ready to come back.
Right. So the big thing is that, like I said, which for athletic trainer wise, we can always, if something does happen, we're always available. One way or another, we'll get them seen for any type of injury. But that being said, hopefully we won't have to do that because we want to keep you guys in great shape. Stay hydrated, even though you may not be doing as much running, things like that. Because I think they said the average soccer player runs 3 to 5 miles in a game or something. It's crazy to my mind. But, staying hydrated, still eating healthy, not eating a lot of junk food, not, gorging yourself on sodas and pops and sugar and things like that. And continue to be running and continue to do some of your drills that you have that I know all of, the coaches will have things for them to do, working out, things like that. Any type of, make sure you guys are still stretching, making sure that you guys are at least getting outside preferably more than 3 times a day. 3 times a week or whatever, but, just running in general. You'll need to have some of those exercises, those running with bursts of sprinting and energy in that as well. But we'll definitely work on trying to get some type of exercise program or something that they can be doing at home as well. And I'll make sure we talk with Chris and try to work something out so they can do things as well to keep going. But the big thing is just, not
stay
stopping
active.
what they're doing now.
Yeah, stay active.
After it.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure you're stretching.
Yeah, exactly. True, good stuff. Well, perfect. No, that's exactly what I think we needed to know with the upcoming tryouts, with the upcoming camp. Weather's going to be a little bit warmer than the past few days, and so we always worry about the kid just making sure that they're properly prepared. So I think the advice that you've given is spot on. And again, I don't know that we can thank you enough for being such great partners for OEFC. Folks, if you're out there at an ECRL game or ECNL game, or just out there and you happen to see Chris or Chandra, go by and say hi. If you have a question, a bum knee, a sprained ankle, or just, some weird pain, I bet she'd love to talk to you about it. So
we do it all the time. So both of our contact information is on that last slide. There's my cell phone number and my email, as well as Chris's cell phone and his email. So if anybody has any issues, any concerns, anything from concussions to rolled ankles to something a lot more serious, don't hesitate to contact us, and we'll do our best to, get you guys seen and everything else. And we love partnering with you guys, and I've always enjoyed going out there and watching the games, and some of them are quite entertaining.
I'll tell you what, exactly. And that's not just the coaches either.
No.
So perfect. Well, Chandra, thank you for taking time out on your Thursday evening, helping us out on this. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
And guys, again, we greatly thank Chandra and Mercy and all of our sponsors, Provision Concepts, who is our main sponsor this year, and the Orthopedic Specialists of Oklahoma, which is one of our new sponsors that we're really, really excited about. So, definitely check them out as well. But, thank you for all the support that they give. And again, guys, thank you for the support that you give us to the club. We couldn't do this without you. We have the greatest players. We have the greatest families, really the greatest staff. We are the top in the state of Oklahoma, and the reason is because of you guys. So appreciate it. Take time, look out for us. We'll try to do this a little bit more regularly, bring in new speakers, new topics for everybody, and really try to keep you informed in a new and fun way. So, guys, have a great Thursday evening. We'll